Hello, in this video we're going to create a point-to-site connection in Azure using Azure Resource Manager Virtual Networks. Now I have made a video prior to this that looks at a similar subject but using service management virtual networks. So I thought I'd make this video to bring things up to date. Now we're going to be using a VNet called VNet 3 that I've already created in the console. So let's take a look at that VNet. Here it is, VNet 3. If I scroll across, we can see the VNet 3 address space of 172.30.00/16, and I have a single subnet on there at the minute of 172.30.00/24. Now, in order to create a point-to-site network, we're going to need a virtual network gateway, and the virtual network gateway has to be configured and installed on a gateway subnet. Now you need to create a gateway subnet first, and it's easily done by selecting subnets in the VNet and then selecting the gateway subnet option from the top of the screen. And the gateway subnet will create the subnet on the next available CIDR range. Now you can do this manually if you want. All you need to do is create a subnet called gateway subnet, and you might want to do that if you want a smaller CIDR range to be assigned. But I'm happy with the CIDR range I've got here, so I'll just say OK to create that gateway subnet on subnet 3. This will just take a minute to create. And then we'll create our new virtual network gateway. So we'll just search for that, virtual network gateway. Choose virtual network gateway. And then say create. Now we all have to provide basic information for the gateway here. Gateway will take around 40-45 minutes to configure, so while that's configuring we will be moving on and performing some steps. But the basic information we need is first of all the gateway name. So we'll call this VNet 3 gateway. It's for VPN. It needs to be root based if it's going to support point-to-site connections. Got a root base, standard SKU, and we'll choose the appropriate virtual network. So there's a few to select from. We're using VNet 3 for our example, so I'll choose VNet 3. And we have to request a public IP address for our gateway. So we'll set the public IP address option here. Select create a new public IP, and we provide a name for the public IP address, so we'll just say IP address, or VNet 3 gateway IP address. We don't get to pick from a public IP address list. We just here we're really just saying I want to request this to be assigned to my gateway when it's configured. Choose a resource group to put it in, a location, all that matches our VNet. So we'll say create. Now, like I said, this gateway itself can take up to 45 minutes to create. So while that's running through, apologies there. While that's running through, we'll go to PowerShell and create a digital certificate and upload the digital certificate to our subscription. So if I open up PowerShell, now I've got the latest Azure PowerShell modules installed. I've also installed the Windows 10 SDK that includes the make cert utility, and we can use this to make our digital certificates. Now I've already connected to my subscription through PowerShell. So the next thing to do, I'm going to do, is create my digital certificate. And the top two lines there, use make cert to first of all create a root certificate, and then create a client certificate based on that root certificate. So if I run line 3, it'll create the root certificate for me. And line 5, it creates the client certificate based on that root. Now these will be created and stored in your personal certificate store, and we can see my certificate store just here. I've got a MMC opened up, personal certificates. I'll just do a refresh there, and that's the root certificate and the client certificate we created. Now the root certificate needs to be uploaded to Azure. And what we can do is we can export that We don't need to export it with a private key, so we say no, do not export a private key. We can do whichever, as long as it's exported the CR extension. We're going to try to convert this to the appropriate format later on, and we can browse and store that in the make sure utility. And I'm going to call this myrootcert.cer. So myrootcert. Save that. So we'll export that root certificate locally, because we need to import that certificate now to Azure. So we'll go back to PowerShell. So we created the root certificate, we created a client certificate based on it. I've exported it to that path, call it myrootcert.cer. That's the root certificate exported there. Now we need to convert the certificate into a format that's supported by Azure, a format that can be uploaded and used with our point site connection. So the next set of PowerShell commands do just that. So from line 12 down to 16, first of all we identify the name of the root certificate and its location. Then we add a variable that's going to add the new object PowerShell commander that identifies again that creates a new object based on that certificate. Then we're going to convert it to a format that's supported by Azure before we then upload it. So the new -Azure RM VPN client root certificate command will take that and upload it as certificate into Azure. So if I run these lines here, they should just take a second to run through, and that certificate then uploaded and ready to go. Of course, we now need to wait for our gateway to be created, and then we need to associate this certificate with that gateway as well. So what I'll do is I'll leave this screen on, but we'll pause the video there for a few minutes while my gateway gets created. We'll leave the screen here for 30 seconds as well, just so you can write down some of these commands, and then we'll jump into the VPN connection part once the VPN gateway is created for us. So it's been about 40 minutes and my gateway is created. We're now looking at the resource group that gateway is in. Over here you can see we've got the two VNets and then VNet 3 gateway. If we take a look at the VNet 3 gateway, just click on there. Now, I'm not spoken about the overview, but down here we've got the point site configuration. In a minute, this will be pretty empty. So it says we've got to have at least one root certificate in order to download the VPN client. There's no address pool configured here for the clients that connect or anything like that just yet. So we're going to finish this configuration from PowerShell. So let's flip back to PowerShell. We'll just close that there and flip back to PowerShell. So I'm still connected to my Azure subscription. So what we need to do is first of all connect to the gateway, and then associate the gateway with the root certificate and the address pool I want to use. And this pool will be used to assign IP addresses to clients that connect in. So over here in line 19 through 21, where configuring the name of the gateway and the resource group that it's in, and then using the get Azure RM virtual network gateway command to grab that gateway object. So we'll run these 3 lines. Good, that looks good. I mean, we can check if we run the variable, so it finds the gateway object. That's good. Then finally, we associate the gateway with the address pool and the root certificate. So we run the set Azure RM virtual network gateway command. And that'll take a minute to run through. While that is running through, just bear in mind that these 2 lines is line 24 and 25. It's actually one continuous line that I've broken up into 2 just so it fits on the screen. By using a little tick command, just there, that little tick breaks the 2 lines up. Now that'll take just a minute to run through to configure our gateway. Once it's done, we should be able to flip back to the console and see that configuration filled in. And importantly, we'll be able to download the VPN client software as well, that we can install locally and then use it to connect to the VPN. So we'll just pause for a second and give that a minute just to run through. So that command's completed. There's been no errors, so I presume it's worked okay. But let's check. We'll go back to the console and see if that point site configuration has been filled in. Let's go back to the console. View gateway 3, VNet 3 gateway. Choose the point site configuration. And here we see the address pool's been configured in. We've got the root certificate that's been added there as well. And importantly, the client download option now is available for us to use. So we can download the VPN client for 32-bit, 64-bit computers. Now this will take a minute just to sort of pull the configuration. Once it's done, we'll be able to download the client, install it, and connect. So we'll just give that just a minute just to finish off. So download's ready. So let's click on the download link. Let's save as, and we'll save it to the local machine. That'll take a minute just to download. We're getting this error to say that it's potentially dodgy, but we won't worry about that. We'll say close it down. Now it's downloaded, we should be able to use it to install the VPN client. So if I go to the folder where it's downloaded, there's the VPN client software. So we'll double click that. And that's Windows protecting our PC again, so run anyway. Yes, it's running that. Do we install the VPN client? Yes, I do. That just takes just 30 seconds to install the VPN client. Now you could have done it manually. You've got the public IP address of the gateway, but it's just easy to download the client, let that do all the hard work for you. But that should be it now. So let's test it. Let's minimize the Azure console and out PowerShell. And I'll go to Network and Sharing Center. This is Windows 10 that I'm running. And we should be able to see if I choose the right option, see the gateway there, the gateway client. So that's the VNet 3 client disconnected at the minute. So I'll say connect to disconnect, VNet 3 and connect. That takes about 15 seconds, but that should be it really. All the connection information embedded inside that certificate. So it says connected. So if it is connected, we should have an IP address from the IP address pool that we configured for the gateway. So let's check that out. Oops. Do IP config. And there we go. As well as my local IP address then, I've got this PPP adapter for VNet 3, and I've been assigned a IP address from the pool that we configured. Happy days. Now, if I had deployed resources to those VNets, I would now be able to connect to those resources, ping them, connect into them, because I'm actually on their VNet now. So in this short video then, we've created a point site connection for ARM virtual networks in Azure using PowerShell and the console. Thank you.